Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. If you're new, I'm Fran Excel, mindset coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and finally live a life that you love. So today I'm going to be talking about personal development books. So I say I'm going to be talking about personal development books, and I am going to be giving you recommendations of some of my favorites. But what I'm really going to be talking about is the importance of personal development. So when you're trying to make a really big change, or like starting your own business, or even believing that you can start your own business, or a big career change, whatever it may be, there's this thing that you need that all too often gets overlooked, and that is personal development and your mindset. I believe it is absolutely fundamental to being successful. You need to work on making sure that your mindset, so your thoughts, your self-belief are on point, and you've actually got the tools and techniques in your armory that are going to help you keep driving forward, stop you from giving up in those inevitable sticky moments. There's so many sticky moments that we have, and we all have them, but we don't understand that we all have them. And the people that tend to be able to push through to all the good stuff on the other side of your comfort zone are the people that work on themselves, the people that know that mindset is 80-20, 20% actual action and doing the things, and 80% mindset. If you don't believe that you can do things, or there's a particular mindset gremlin getting in your way, then you're going to really struggle. So what I wanted to do was today give you a few of my favorites, because your mindset needs to be a positive place. Looking for solutions rather than issues, opportunities, not obstacles, positives, not negatives. Now, the reason I say this is it's actually neuroscience. I'm always talking about helping you find your positive pants. There's a reason for that. You absolutely have to build that positive foundation in your mindset to begin with. Regardless of anything changing, you have to be able to see those positives, because when you're looking at the negatives and you're focusing on the negatives, your brain will actively work against you in order to almost stop you getting these things done. Whereas coming at it from a positive mindset and from a positive place, with your positive pants firmly pulled up and on, then you're going to be in a much better position to go through all the yucky bits. They're inevitable, but they're so worth it. So worth it. And you can learn so much along the way. So the journey to achieving anything big is going to throw some serious mindset gremlins at you. It just is. So immersing yourself in personal development books is a really great way of keeping yourself on track, but also growing at the same time. So I actually read a book per week. And what I've done is turn wasted time into my learning zone. I've talked about this briefly before. So any time that I perceive to be wasted, in inverted commas. So, for example, if you've got audiobooks, you can listen in the car, you can listen on the train, you can listen on the tube, you can listen in the queue at the post office. Do people go to post office much anymore? I don't really know. But in queues, sitting in the doctor's or the dentist. You can do it when you're doing the housework. All these times where we say to ourselves, I haven't got time. All of those times can be used to be learning. But I often find that if I've been consuming too many business books rather than personal development books, you will learn. The ones that I like are ones that have a big crossover, which is a lot of them, because mindset is so key. But if I'm listening to too many hardcore business books, it starts to affect me. So then I know that the next one I need to listen to is a mindset book to get me back on track and start me feeling better. So the first one that I want to go through is something that I recommend a lot, and that is Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. Now, one of the mindset gremlins I talk about a lot is procrastination. It's something that hugely stops us in our tracks, and there are so many reasons why, which I won't go into now, but I do have a very handy freebie for you that I'm going to post that will help you work out where you're at with that. But this book genuinely changed my life. So for all those moments that you're procrastinating or struggling to get yourself to just do the things that you know you need to, but you can't quite make yourself, you need Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. So it isn't a business book per se. I actually used it the first time to get me into a gym routine for the first time in 33 years. Never thought I would see the day, but this rule managed to get me in the gym. She used it when she'd gone through something very, very similar to me, which is one of the reasons I think I resonate with this so much. But she was struggling to stop pressing the snooze button in the morning, and it was becoming a real problem for her. So she developed this rule and went searching for the neuroscience, which again is very similar to what I do. I tend to find out what's working, and then I need to know why it's working. So this principle really does apply to all areas of your life. So if you've got a full-time job and you're trying to get your side hustle off the ground, procrastination is a huge issue. It's all too easy to sit in front of Netflix or scrolling social media instead of doing all the things that will actually move you forward. So you need to read this book. The basic principle is that it's all about waking up the prefrontal cortex. I won't go into it too much because it's a lot of information, but don't worry, it's not too brain sciencey. You will understand it, and it is just the most incredible rule. And essentially what you do is when you can feel yourself procrastinating, and as I always say, awareness is the key to changing any behavior, you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you physically move. So for example, for me, it would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then in my Bikram yoga, I would get up and I would do that pose. And it works in every single area of your life. All those moments where you start feeling yourself sinking into that sofa or not packing your gym kit, this will help you with procrastination, but it will also help you break and form habits. So it's really, really important. I absolutely love it. So the next one is Jen Sincero, You're a Badass. So this is a lot more, this is really lighthearted. So this is a really great sort of route in to some of this stuff. So it's called How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. So essentially it's kind of no nonsense advice on how to actually change your life. So if you're constantly doubting yourself and your own awesomeness, it's going to feel like an uphill struggle all the way. So this book helps you stop that cycle of self-sabotage. And I find Jen Sincero quite funny. And she similar to me, again, she likes to defluff the woo-woo stuff. She doesn't so much in the way that I do, but she definitely talks a lot about things like law of attraction and things like that, but in a very practical, actionable kind of way, how it can actually work in your life. So she takes out the stuff that feels woo-woo. So it's a really, really good introduction into all that sort of mindset stuff. And this is I get obsessive and I start to find out the science behind these things. And if I can't find the science, I'm like, no, move on. So the next one for you is Simon Sinek's Start With Why. So again, you'll hear me talking a lot about why do you do what you do? This helps with procrastination as well. When you can really connect to that, it really helps drive you forward, especially in those sticky moments. So when you're really, really clear on your why in your business, it can absolutely propel you forward. So it makes your message stronger, but it also keeps you moving in all those times where you think, oh, I can't do it and I want to stop. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this in the first place? So it puts that fire in your belly. He says that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And often I find when I ask this question online or on Instagram or wherever, I find that I ask this question and I get quite, and I don't mean any disrespect to this, because if people don't understand this, then absolutely. When I say, why do you do what you do? I get quite a shallow response often. So I always say your why is like peeling an onion. It's not as simple as say, I want to help I want to help women who are really miserable in their corporate jobs realize they don't have to be, realize that they can have the self-belief and the confidence to move forward and push through those mindset gremlins that are holding them back so they can live a happier life. That's my shallow why. I love doing that. Absolutely, I love doing that. But why do I love doing that? And you go layer and unlayer and layer and layer. And my main why is about freedom. So you can connect to your values when you are understanding what your why is and why you're doing what you're doing. So like I say, onion, keep going that layer deeper. And freedom for me is freedom for myself from financial constraints and from a 9 to 5, from time constraints, the freedom to do what feels right at the time that feels right, to have freedom for my husband to live the dreams that he has, but freedom for my clients as well. That I'm so passionate about making and helping women understand that you genuinely can do whatever you put your mind to if you can work on that self-belief first. You really, really can. And I genuinely believe that nobody has to spend 70% of their lives miserable, living for the weekend, wishing their life away. That gets my goat. It doesn't have to be that way, and too many of us accept it as the way it is. So my why is all that freedom encompassed. So that is why I keep going. And it's what drives me, because it's not just about me, but it's a huge driver, and one of my number one values. So it's what keeps me going. So think about that. Next time you say, why do I do what I do? Try and go a layer deeper. Quite often, here's a good example for you. So in a coaching exercise I was doing once was with someone about them losing weight. And again, when losing weight is a huge thing that people really want to do, but they can't seem to make themselves. So when you actually investigate and you question around that, and you have a coach actually questioning you in the right way, you can get some serious aha moments. So quite often you start with a goal, which is, I want to lose weight. Because I want to look good. Why do you want to look good? Because I want to feel good about myself. Why do you want to feel good about yourself? Well, because I want to be accepted. Why do you want to be accepted? Because I don't feel good enough. Do you see? So these are all these different things. So, and then when you get to the crux, when you get to that real driving force behind why you want what you want and why you do what you do, then you can start to work and all the magic's going to start happening. So I hope that's really useful for you. And then my final one is Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. This is so key when you are pushing yourself out your comfort zone, which is inevitable if you're starting a business or changing career or whatever it may be, writing a book. So this book is actually primarily written for writers, but my goodness, it is applicable to any entrepreneur, any creative, anyone who wants to achieve something big. So what it's about is all about resistance. Now, if you haven't heard resistance is something that rears its ugly little mindset gremlin head when we're really trying to push forward and do something. And we will have to deal with it. It's inevitable. It's one of those things that can either make you or break you. It can stop you in your tracks or help drive you forward because you know that the good stuff's on the other side. So resistance is that fear activation in your head that turns into a niggly little inner voice telling you that you can't do things, you need to slow down, procrastinate, stay safe. I talk about the amygdala a lot, and that fear center in your brain that gets triggered by these things. And it always happens when you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And that's why I say unicorns and rainbows live outside your comfort zone, because you've got to push through that horrible bit. And then, my goodness, the stuff that happens on the other side, you grow in confidence, self-belief, that you've got this, so this is something that we really do have to push through. And it's something that I believe every entrepreneur needs in their life. So they are my top 5 for now. I have plenty up my sleeve for today. Don't forget to download your free procrastination buster. Let's get you out of your own way, essentially. There's a bonus workbook there for all the extra sticky moments that you can work through, which is a series of coaching questions, and it will connect to your why, work out why you're procrastinating, all these different things. It's really, really useful. I put a lot of time and effort into creating it because I think it's really going to help a lot of people. So make sure you download that, and I will see you soon.